Welcome to the Fit 15 podcast show, where you'll find health and fitness inspiration, motivation, and information shared in 15-minute episodes. Tune in while getting a move on to make leading and enjoying the benefits of a healthy lifestyle almost too easy. It's the Fit 15. And now your host, Catherine Basu.
Welcome to the Fit 15 podcast show. I'm your host, Catherine Basu, and I hope you are joining us and getting in a little walk while listening to today's podcast. But maybe you will be like me and inspired to change things up a little bit when it comes to your workout routine and maybe try some stand-up paddleboarding for a future workout. I know I unfortunately have not been able to try out stand-up paddleboarding just yet, but today's guest definitely has me inspired. So who is today's guest? Today's guest is David Walker. He is a stand-up paddleboarder and entrepreneur from the UK. He currently works and paddles down in Falmouth, Cornwall. Sport has always been an important part of his life. Growing up in London, he played rugby, football, cricket, squash, and the list goes on. After moving down to the southwest coast, David fell in love with the sea again and now focuses his time between paddling, working with student entrepreneurs at the University of Exeter, and running his business, Paddleboarding, a water sports tracking app for iPhone. Welcome to the podcast, David. I'm so excited to have you as my guest today.
Thank you very much for having me. Awesome to be here.
So I'm excited and I'm a little embarrassed because as we were chatting before, I shared that I now live like less than a mile to the beach and less than a mile to where there's paddleboarding going on, and I've still not gone out and done stand-up paddleboarding. So I need to get out there. Hopefully this will inspire me. But
100%. And also, I'd like to say on that, I'm pretty sure it's really warm water over there at the moment. So bearing in mind I'm here in the UK where and I'm putting on a kind of couple of mil wetsuit and struggling and still getting out there, you've got no real excuses.
Well, I guess it's relative because I grew up on the east coast of the US, which has, I grew up in Connecticut, which gets cold in the winter, but it does have warmer water than the west coast, which...
Okay,
but our air temperature is warmer, so it's all kind of like, and I'm sure it's not like, at least I have the sunshine. You might not have the sunshine out there all the time.
Put it this way, it was really sunny today, but my word, was it freezing cold.
But I guess that's, so maybe there's a misconception. People might think that it can't be done year round or different weather, but I guess that just goes to show if you can suit up, you can get out there no matter what the weather is. So
absolutely right. And I think if you can get out there all year round, it's where you need to be. The ocean's constantly changing. It's a different challenge. It's a more fun challenge. It makes it more interesting sometimes. There's a bit more fear as to not fall in if it's colder.
Sure.
A bit of motivation, and it's I think it means if you're paddling in the same place in the summer and you're paddling in the same place as when you are in the winter, it's a completely different environment. So there's something that I really like about that is that you can constantly be challenged and kind of feel like you're doing something new, even if you haven't moved more than 50 yards across the season.
Sure. So I guess, how did you get involved in stand-up paddleboarding just to kind of get us started?
So probably about 5 or 6 years ago, I did some traveling. I was actually in South Africa.
Oh, wow.
Which was really fun. And that's where I kind of got into a little bit of surfing. I'm still really bad at that. So that kind of was good. And then came back here and I saw some people doing it. I was like, oh, that looks really, really fun. And I think that's the key, is that it's fun. And I went and tried it, and it's something that feels, I don't know, very different to anything else. Got kind of a little bit of a hook. And then I moved down from London down into Cornwall in the UK. So it's far down in the southwest of the country. And there was a really cool stand-up paddleboarding club. And I've just been paddling with them ever since, really. And I think it's one of those things that anyone can really get involved with. It's really, really inclusive. It's just it's indescribable almost, that feeling of that first being able to stand up on the water and kind of paddle about and have an explore and have an adventure. And once you get that little buzz, there's a little click that you just kind of get, and that never really goes. Or at least it never really left me, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, I love that. I think, it's great to encourage people to try different things because that's how running is for me. So I think, I haven't tried stand-up paddleboarding yet, but I'm sure there's people that maybe they haven't tried it yet either. And, they get out there and find something they really enjoy because, I mean, it's a great workout, right? Maybe you can share a little bit about the benefits with us, but, the fact that we don't have to go out there and have it feel like, just that we're miserable having to go to the gym or something to have those benefits.
I tell you what, that is exactly one of the benefits, is that I don't think I've ever felt like I'm actually doing a workout.
Mm-hmm.
It's now 5-6 years later, I've kind of developed as a paddler. So now when I go out, yes, okay, I'm still going out to have fun, but I kind of go out, I want to make sure I go out a couple of times a week and I'm training maybe, or going, right, I'm going to do 6 kilometers, I'm going to do 8 kilometers, and I want to do it faster for a race that's coming up, or I want to go a little bit further, or I want to paddle upwind and into the wind to make it a little bit harder for myself. And there's things like that you can do to kind of change it up as a workout. But it doesn't matter every single time. It's still just fun. And the only thing that I can liken it to, probably, I don't know, I've said this now, so a lot of people and a lot of listeners may disagree. But if you've ever been on a mountain bike and done kind of like cross country or downhill mountain biking, if you go cycling for a couple of hours and it's constant twists and turns and little jumps and burns, and you're constantly thinking of the technical aspect of it, you kind of forget about the fact that you've been cycling for 10 kilometers.
Sure.
And it's the same thing. You're constantly looking at balancing. You're constantly kind of reading the ocean. You're constantly going, oh, look at that. There's a little fish over there. That's pretty cool. Like there's constantly stuff going on that keeps you going, keeps you motivated, I guess. And at the end of the day, it's just a really fun sport that kind of, as an all body workout, keeps you captivated and keeps you going. And I think, if you speak to anyone, it is an all body workout. It looks like it might just be shoulders and back or shoulders and chest. But once you've picked up kind of the basics and you're standing up and you're moving about, as soon as you want to get into that pro kind of training regime, you can start to really finesse your stroke.
Hi friends, it's Catherine, and that little sound is your halfway point reminder if you are joining us for an out and back walk or paddle and only have a total of 15 minutes, you will want to turn around now. All right, back to our conversation.
And it's, okay, you're using your calves, your thighs, your core, you're twisting, like it's everything. And there's lots of really cool websites and information about that as well. And it's just the best thing ever. Honestly, it's just really good fun.
Well, your passion for it definitely shines through, and you have me excited about getting started. Any little tips for those of us going out there for the first time, what to expect?
A really interesting phenomena that kind of happens. I think the first time anyone goes paddling is you paddle out, you get used to the board and you get used to being on the water, and then you kind of go, okay, I'm going to stand up, and if it's really calm, and then all of a sudden your legs turn into jelly. And it's like it's a completely natural thing, right? And it's something you can't control. They just kind of shake. And then after a while, as you get used to being stood up and your body kind of relaxes, your legs relax and they're not kind of constantly shaking. And you kind of concentrate on looking forward. But yeah, the day after, it doesn't matter if you've gone like 200 meters or 2 miles, it will be painful, and you'll know that you've done a workout. And then that's when you really can particularly realize, okay, this isn't just working my arms, this isn't just working my core, this is the world, right? And the best thing about that as well is it's low impact, so it's great for everyone. So my girlfriend's had unfortunately she's had some problems with her knees. So one of her knees had like a cartilage issue that she had to get an operation on, which means that running is really painful. It's not great for it, right?
Right.
And I guess as a personal trainer, you probably see quite a lot of those kind of injuries,
right?
Or are aware of them. And like cycling's great for that, low impact, but it gets the knee move. And this is the kind of the same thing. It activates all of those muscles in the calves and the thigh, but without necessarily being like heavy impact, like with running.
No, it's awesome.
So that's a really good benefit of the sport.
cool. And you're talking, the benefits too beyond just the physical benefits. Cause I tend to focus on physical benefits of or physical health, I guess I should say, on the show, but obviously our health is not just our physical health. It's also our mental health too. So do you find that, stand-up paddleboarding is able to help with that? Or could you mention anything about that for the listeners?
Oh, absolutely. I think there's two things here. One is, if anyone's ever had that feeling of like escapism, okay, I don't know about, I'm constantly on my phone with work, and I'm constantly answering emails, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, and it's sometimes just really nice to just get away from that.
Yep.
And just be in my own little bubble on the water and not having to deal with stuff and people being able to contact me, and I can just go, no, this is my time. And even if you're sat there for 20 minutes and not even paddling, that's something that's very, very relaxing. But beyond that, and I think kind of scientifically, when you get into mental health, there's a couple of things. I don't know if you've ever heard of blue health or green health.
I feel like I've heard of blue health, but I haven't heard of green health now that you say that.
Okay, well, I mean, I think they're kind of two sides of the same coin, in a sense.
Sure.
That blue health is being on the water and
okay.
being beneficial, and green health is just being outside and in the kind of the natural world.
Okay.
And having the same kind of thing. But for me, definitely this whole kind of idea of the ocean being able to wash away, it sounds a bit corny, like being able to wash away problems or wash away any issues you may have. And that, I'm not saying it washes away things like that, but there's definitely something that you can just relax. And I don't want to, it sounds odd to say I want to be at one with the ocean, and that sounds really kind of, not, out there kind of, but you can really, it's definitely been, I think, been proven scientifically that there is something to do with being on the water that is relaxing. And I know that in my own kind of mental health in the last kind of couple of years, times that I felt really, really low, maybe not quite to the extent of having full-on depression, but just feeling really down for like a couple of days, something being on the water and just being going, this is great. Like that, it just kind of lifts your whole kind of well-being. And I think that's very, very important. And to back that up, I suppose there's a charity that works near me down here in Falmouth called the Sea Sanctuary, and they specialise with mental health, and they take mental health patients out sailing.
Oh, wow.
And it's the same
Very
thing,
cool.
right? Being on the water. So there's definitely something in that, and it's a really accessible way to do that. Yeah, as well as mental health, as well as physical health. Sorry, it's the mental aspect.
Sure. No, I definitely could see that. And just, I feel like even if you're not thinking about it, there's probably some perspective to be gained of being like, this small little, person in this huge ocean, right? Or I guess depending on where you're paddling, but
right. If it's, you standing up, you get a different perspective. You can look down if it's a clear day. You can look down through to the ocean floor. It's shallow and clear, and you can see cool stuff down there. And that's kind of like, oh wow, look, even that's a very physical different perspective, right? But with the bobbing around, and it's a very kind of special place to be. And again, it's one of these things that I think it's very difficult to put into words. In the same sense, I've gone, oh yeah, no, it's great, everyone should do it, because when you go paddling, you just kind of get it. Right, well, what is it? Come on, Dave, what are you talking about?
So we just have to get people out there, right? I mean,
you've just got to do it. You've just got to do it. And I think people will start to realise that, yeah. And it's one of the fastest growing sports out there because of probably this, because of its accessibility, because of the fact that anyone can really do it and access it.
No, that's awesome. So, I mean, you mentioned this in some of the notes you shared, because I think about it, going out, paddling around, but there's a lot more to stand-up paddleboarding than just stand-up paddling. So, like, can you share some of the just different ways it's grown in terms of that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so from a fitness point of view, I mean, I go out, people go out, and we go out paddling, we go out training, we go and go, right, I'm going to do 5K in an hour, I'm going to do 6, and you get in the same way that you would train if you were running, I suppose. And you can get, there are loads of training programs that are based around that and your kind of general fitness. There are other really, obviously, standing on a paddleboard or sitting on a paddleboard, you're not on a flat surface, on a stable surface.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, it's become a really good platform for doing things like yoga and core stretching exercises.
Mm-hmm.
I'm terrible at yoga. I'm very inflexible, and it's something that I think I should be doing as it's just something I feel I should be doing probably because my flexibility is poor.
Mm-hmm.
But you see, it's happening quite a lot. A lot of gyms will be doing SUP yoga in their swimming pools and things.
Mm-hmm.
Partly because of the novelty, I suppose. I don't know how you feel about that. If you've come across it, even.
I've seen ads for it, so I'm like, oh, I should probably go now that they're doing it in the gym. I should probably go check it out. But I mean, and of course, since I haven't tried it myself, it's hard to speak on it. But I feel like, I mean, it has to be a good core workout. So I am intrigued.
Yeah, right? Because it's constantly activating like all of those muscles. If you're going out for the first time, if you kind of stare at the horizon
Mm-hmm.
and you just completely forget that you're standing on a paddleboard, your body will naturally balance. That's what it's designed to do. It will constantly make those micro adjustments to keep you standing upright. As soon as you start thinking about it, you're more likely to fall in, for example. Or at least that's the experience I've had.
I mean, I'm glad we're talking about this now before I go out there, because I'm sure.
Well, yeah. But yeah, so SUP yoga, touring, racing, but also surfing as well. People have kind of migrated from surfing up to SUP surfing, and it's kind of opened up a whole new type of wave that people can surf, and new opportunities and things that, I don't know, you've probably seen the videos of people like Kai Lenny and Connor Baxter and Dane Schweitzer doing really, really cool stuff on foil boards, they just do insane stuff. Surfboards, foil boards, paddle boards, everything. You know, if it's floatable, it's probably surfable, I think.
Okay.
But,
yeah, I have to take a look now.
Yeah, exactly. And I think because there's that, the surfing thing is quite interesting, because I've spoken to a lot of people that have been surfers in their younger, without being rude, in their younger days.
Mm-hmm.
And they felt that and as they've got older, it's more challenging for them to still be able to paddle out, pop up, and they've maybe lost some flexibility, but still want to have that feeling of catching a wave.
Mm-hmm.
And stand-up paddleboarding has allowed them to continue to do that, because there is that. Okay, maybe they're not surfing as aggressively as they were when they were younger, right? But it's still that same. It's that constantly being active, whether it's kind of more mellow, longer, longboarding waves, and or just getting out and touring from former surfers. So it kind of has that. It fills a lot of gaps, I think. If you're a windsurfer, for example, and it's not windy, just jump on a paddleboard, get out there. You know, it's opened up a lot of doors for people, and that's in the last 10, 15, probably slightly longer years.
Mm-hmm. No, that's awesome. Well, I have that tip now. I'm gonna remember to look at the horizon. Is there anything else we should know, like in terms of like any special equipment we would need, or safety things, or just anything else that us new paddleboarders should keep in mind?
Yeah, I mean, I think in terms of, it depends where you're paddling for a start. If you're going out in the ocean, you know, and I think wherever you're paddling, really, always wear a leash. It's keeping you attached to the big floaty thing that's going to keep you safe, which is the paddleboard.
Yep.
There are some circumstances where it's more advisable not to wear a leash. So, for example, if you're in heavy rivers and where there's lots of kind of undergrowth and stuff that a leash can snag on.
Okay.
So that's something to bear in mind. But I think for the majority of people who are just getting out there to learn, kind of on the coast and in the coastal environment, get a leash on. That's really, really, really key and important. And also some top tips as well. Probably kind of make sure sounds really dumb. I don't know. Maybe it just sounds dumb to me. Make sure the paddle's facing around the right way. So paddleboard blades are angled from the shaft, and you want that blade facing away from you, which seems a bit counterintuitive, but it makes such a difference in terms of having a better experience on the water.
Okay.
So that's definitely up there. If you're going out for a long time, or you're going out just yourself or with a couple of other people, take a phone, take a form of communication. Like, you never know what's going to happen. Like, you might go out and it's completely fine, and you get back and great. You might go out and it looks exactly the same. Then all of a sudden the wind will get up or change direction, and you're being blown, somewhere beyond where you thought, beyond your capability.
Sure.
And all of a sudden it can become quite a dangerous place. So take a form of communication, whether it's a radio, a mobile phone, which we all have, like 90%, well, most of us, or even you can get really technical with EPUBs and stuff like that. But take a phone. That's the big one, I would say, or at least some form of communication.
And then we also should take our phone, because you have this awesome app that people can use when they're out there.
I don't want to say it's the only reason. I think, so the company I run is called Paddleboarding, which is a mobile app for water sports. I stand up paddle, but it's for kayakers, sailors. We've had wild swimmers as well use it. And basically what we want to do as a company is you want to enhance your experience on the water. So yes, you're going out and you're having a great time paddling, but you might want to know how far you've gone. You might want to know how fast you've gone. You might want to be able to see a really cool trip map that's color-coded to see exactly where maybe you were paddling into the wind versus how that changed when you were paddling downwind. It'll be a lot quicker. It'll be slightly different. So there's lots of really cool stuff there. Like you say, take your phone out, because you can use our app. We viewed it from a different way. We kind of said, we think everyone should be taking their phone out anyway. So why shouldn't they use their phone to also track their journey?
Sure.
If you're a professional athlete or regularly training, I understand that there's people that want to get their own kind of sport specific GPS watches, which are kind of, US, I don't know, $200, $250, something like that. I don't know. There's probably a range.
Yep,
but
that's probably where it starts. Then it goes up from there.
Okay, so that's kind of my ballpark. And if you're getting into a sport, you don't necessarily want to spend X amount of money on doing that. If you're just going down to the beach and renting a board for an hour for, I'm gonna say $15, $20. I don't know what the going rate there is. So what we've got is something that you can just go and you can take out and still get similar kinds of data back for far less price or far cheaper price.
But yeah, so that's so awesome being able to get that data. Plus, I mean, I don't know, this is something I think about is having your watch on out on the water. You're going to get a horrible watch tan. So better to track it with your phone.
Well, I mean, there's two ways of thinking about that. So funny you should mention watch. So because we're on Apple, it's an iPhone on the App Store. We're also available on the Apple Watch. So you on new watches and things that have GPS and every Apple Watch since the 2, I think the Series 2 has GPS tracking. So you can leave your phone on the shore. Okay. And just use the watch to GPS track you. But again, like I was saying earlier, in terms of safety and having contact with the land or contact with someone else, we would still prefer to have someone had a phone.
Right.
It just seems sensible, right? Yeah. Also, every time you take a watch off, you've got a wicked watch tan, which can be quite like, look where I've been. I'm normally really, really pale, but check out, I've been out and about, and it can work both ways.
Yep. Well, I'm excited to have people check it out, and now that when I go out, I'll be able to download the app and check it out myself. Anything else you want to tell us in terms of like how people can connect with you, where to go find the app so they can download it, or anything? Any other good tips for them before we officially say goodbye?
Yeah, sure. So the app's available on the Apple App Store now. So get on there and download it. It's called Paddleboarding. You can find us on Instagram as @Paddleboarding. It's fairly simple. If you want to follow me specifically, I don't know why you would, but you might want to see what I'm up to. It's @PLDave. And just kind of get involved. What we really like to see is people's trips and what they've been up to. So if you get out there and use Paddleboarding, share it through kind of Instagram, Facebook with a hashtag Paddleboarding. It would be great to see and get and feature some of your guys' kind of awesome trips and things. And what's really cool is we've got some awesome stuff coming out or planned to come out in the next couple of months or so that should kind of even create that that experience, elevate it even further, and kind of maybe assist with kind of some of these, making people better paddlers as well. That's what we're about, is we want to make people better paddlers and get more people on the water. Yeah, I guess that's kind of the message that we want to send.
Very cool. Well, I'm excited to get out there now after our chat, and really appreciate you stopping by to inspire the listeners as well, David. So thanks so much.
No, thank you very much. Get out there. Let's see some footage. Let's take a video. Let's get it on Instagram. Let's get some. That's the challenge. Let's get out there.
No, I love it.
Awesome.
Thanks for listening to the Fit 15. For show notes and more, visit fitarmadillo.com/podcast. See you next time.
Hi friends, it's Catherine, and I just downloaded Paddlebording, so I hope to see you out there on the water. Wanted to just mention briefly that since today is Friday, or at least it will be Friday when this episode goes live, there will not be a new episode tomorrow or on Sunday, but if you subscribe to the show, you'll be reminded of the next episode, which will be released on Monday. So I look forward to chatting with you then. I would love, in the meantime, while we're not releasing new episodes, if you could take that time you would normally spend tuning in to leave a rating and review on iTunes and Stitcher to not only make my day, but encourage me to keep on releasing new episodes. Hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I will chat with you on Monday. Bye.